Hello everybody, Jake here and welcome to the hobby. In today's video we are talking about what you can expect from Pokemon card collecting in 2025. 2025 will be marking the last year of the Scarlet and Violet era. Usually Pokemon card collecting goes in 3-year blocks. Sword and Shield had 3 years, Sun and Moon has 3 years, and Scarlet and Violet will most likely have 3 years before the next era of Pokemon cards is going to be added to the hobby. And generally speaking, I would actually say the Scarlet and Violet era was actually one of the best era that we've seen so far for Pokemon card collecting. I know when it started, a lot of people were saying that Scarlet and Violet seems a little bit lackluster, it's a little bit boring, and a lot of people actually said Scarlet and Violet really didn't impress them, and that's what the general consensus I saw from my comment section. And some of you also predicted that we are going to look at Scarlet and Violet with rose tinted glasses as the sets tend to age, and that absolutely did happen, where older Scarlet and Violet era sets are now starting to appreciate in value as people realize, wait a second, these older Scarlet and Violet sets aren't that bad. Scarlet and Violet Base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, Temporal Forces, all of these older sets are starting to showcase that there's really some decent cards inside of them. And as older and older sets start to age, we are seeing some serious value gains in some of these cards. In fact, if you are a Pokemon card collector, whether you enjoyed 2024 or not, if you have any modern cards inside of your collection, decent modern cards from the last 4 years, most of those cards have appreciated in value in 2024. Most cards, most decent chase cards in 2024 saw a value gain of between 20% to upwards of 200% for the premium chase cards. But on average, most cards did climb between 20 to 50% in terms of decent value in 2024, which is actually kind of astounding because most years it's pretty stagnant. But when things shift, they can shift dramatically in a very short period of time. Well, what does 2025 have to offer for us as collectors? 2025 will be, like I said, the last year of the Scarlet and Violet era, and usually for the last year of any given era, the Pokemon Company likes to throw in a lot of really cool stuff, and things with a bang, if you'd like to call it. They like to be a little bit more experimental, add some really spicy stuff for the last couple of sets, and we are definitely going to see that into 2025. Things like the partner Pokemon are making a return. These are going to be Pokemons that are specifically owned by a named trainer, usually a very popular trainer throughout the Pokemon series. We've already seen a couple of these cards be revealed, and they're pretty much trainer gallery cards from the Sword and Shield era. If you remember the trainer galleries from Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, these are pretty much trainer gallery cards where the cards are featuring the artwork of both a trainer as well as a Pokemon, but ultimately now they have a mechanic difference inside of them where it's actually named that this is owned by a specific trainer like Iono and or Lily. So it's going to be interesting to see where that format goes, but from a general collector's perspective, these are pretty much trainer gallery cards, and they look pretty solid. It's clear that the Pokemon Company enjoyed the trainer gallery cards. Those were probably some of the most popular cards from the Sword and Shield era, and I'm confident that they are going to be some of the most popular cards again from the Scarlet and Violet era. Generally speaking, any Pokemon card that features both a trainer as well as a Pokemon in their natural environment of just being friends and doing adorable stuff is going to be generally entertaining and artistically pleasing for most modern day collectors. So I have no doubt that any of these cards, especially the ones that feature both popular trainers and popular Pokemon, are going to be incredibly in demand for the next year, especially with the upcoming Rocket set, which we know very little about, but I have strong confidence that nostalgia goggles are going to be on full overdrive because generally speaking, nostalgia absolutely sells. It's actually one of the biggest factors to Pokemon's success is that they can do repeats of popular Pokemon, and those Pokemon continue to be incredibly in demand. Things like Pikachu, Charizard, Mewtwo and Mew, Rayquaza, you name it, if it's a popular OG Pokemon, those Pokemons tend to do incredibly well. With 2025 featuring the return of partner Pokemon, the Rocket set, as well as the final 4 series of the Scarlet and Violet era, I have no doubt that 2025 is going to be an incredibly popular year for most modern day collectors. The special sets from 2025 are also going to be some of the highlights of the year. The first big special set is obviously going to be Prismatic Evolutions, which is going to be released in just a couple of short weeks. And Prismatic Evolution already is quite possibly the most expensive and popular Pokemon card set to collect right now. The sealed product prices for packs of Prismatic Evolutions are through the roof right now. Everyone is clamoring to get even a single pack. Any pack that you can land on is going to be incredibly in demand. People are going to be fighting over these packs in stores. I kind of dread it a little bit, but that's just how popular Prismatic Evolutions is as a set. The Pokemon Company most likely is already well aware that they have short printed the amount of Prismatic Evolution packs because they have the same amount of products as any other set, but Prismatic Evolution is a factor more popular than any other previous sets. So realistically, they need to quadruple their print run in Prismatic Evolutions to even have a chance of meeting demand. So it'll be interesting to see how much Prismatic Evolutions we are going to get our hands on over the next 2 years during its print cycle. But remember that the print cycle Prismatic Evolutions is 2 years time, because if you look at it right now on the Pokemon Center website, there are still sealed packs of Crown Zenith with products available on the Pokemon Center at retail price for Crown Zenith. So I'm hoping that Prismatic Evolutions has a very similar scenario where 2 years from now, we will still find Prismatic Evolution products at retail price from the Pokemon Center. That would be the dream scenario, is that through the product life cycle, there will still be enough packs for anyone who would like to get their hands on some to crack open packs of Prismatic Evolutions. That's my hope. It sometimes doesn't work out that way. But outside of the products that's coming out of 2025, let's take a step back. If you have any other cards inside of your collection, what are some of the cards and sets that I think are going to appreciate the most value in 2025? What we've seen so far is that the top chase cards are definitely the ones that tend to climb the fastest, and that's usually the most go-to answer. Is any top chase cards from any given set will outperform other cards inside of their sets. Generally speaking, you don't really see sleeper cards anymore nowadays. There are still some cards that can jump up in value after the fact. Some cards that started off as being some of the weaker cards inside of their set, but ended up being the most popular cards after a period of time includes cards like the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. The Magikarp from Paldea Evolved did not start off as the most expensive card from the set. Another big one would be the Raging Bolt EX from Temporal Forces. That card did not start off as being one of the more expensive cards from the set. Over time, it became the most expensive card, which is good for us to know. There are other cards that are very similar to that, which includes the Mewtwo V-Star from Crown Zenith. Other major cards took its place earlier on in the sets. Cards like the Arceus V-Star were considered more popular than the Mewtwo V-Star, but over time the Mewtwo V-Star has climbed up and showcased that it's well deserving of being one of the top cards from the Crown Zenith era. And in general, if you're someone out there that's collecting cards, usually the best performing cards are going to be the top chase cards of any set. People like collecting the top chase cards from sets. Most people aren't collecting every single card from every single set. They just want the greatest hits. Most people just don't have the time to collect every single card, so they just want to know what is the top card. I just want the best cards because we as collectors like to be a little bit showy. We like to show off our collections. We like to brag about our collection. So it makes absolute sense that the best and most expensive chase cards from any series is going to be the ones that are climbing the most in value. If you look at the top chase cards from prior sets, sets like Evolving Skies with the Umbreon V Max, set like Crown Zenith with the Giratina V Star, any set where the top chase card is incredibly popular, the top chase cards tend to outperform any other cards inside of the set. That seems a little bit counterintuitive. You might think the most expensive card would be the one that is struggling the most to climb up in value, and the cheaper cards have more legway, but in general that's not the case. The most expensive cards are the ones that are going to climb the fastest just because they have so many more eyeballs on them. So there's so many more people clamoring for these top chase cards. That's why they climb so much in value. You have people that aren't even Pokemon card collectors that collect Umbreon V Max and Giratina V Star because they just know that those cards are the best. They're not really Pokemon card collectors, they're just general collectors, but even these general collectors will still want the best cards of the era. That's why these top chase cards from their specific sets are the ones that are climbing the most in value. In general, I will say that 2025, I'm generally very optimistic about. I think 2025 will be a year that I will be very excited to be collecting in because there's so many great sets that's coming out. I'm gonna be excited to be opening up any of these booster packs from upcoming sets. I just know that the last era of Scarlet and Violet is gonna have some of the best sets from the whole entire series. If you look at the last 8 sets from the Scarlet and Violet era, the last 8 main series sets, they were all very solid. I don't really think any of them were truly that weak. And we are going to get even better sets for the next couple of series for the Scarlet and Violet era. So I think things are only going to go up and up from here. Generally speaking, if you want to collect Pokemon cards, there are still cheap products available. There aren't a ton of them, but there are cheap products available that are going for below retail price. The Terapagos Ultra Premium Collection is currently going for below retail price. Pretty much anything from Shrouded Fable is still going for below retail price. And unless you're going for a very specifically highly popular set like Searching Sparks, there are a ton of general EX collection boxes, tin boxes, that are also going for below retail price. So when people say that Pokemon card products are overpriced right now, or they can't find Pokemon card products on store shelves, they're usually talking about very, very specific products or very specific scenarios in a very specific store, because in general, if you go on the Pokemon Center right now, you can still find Pokemon card products at retail price. And in a lot of major LGS stores, you can find products for even below retail price. It's usually a very specific product that they're talking about that they can't find in store shelves. Something like a Searching Sparks booster box, which is obviously very expensive right now, but that's generally what's going to happen in any healthy market. There's going to be some expensive products, there's going to be some cheaper products, but that just shows the market is vibrant. Right now, if you want to collect something, there's opportunity in the hobby. So definitely get out there, enjoy collecting, and 2025 is going to be an exciting year. I'm going to be sharing every step of the way with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are for 2025. If you have any collecting goals, leave it down in the comment and see where things end up by the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.